Hi. I had such a great day yesterday. Had a few things to do, but I ended up I sat next to a different person at my son's basketball game, and we laughed so hard. It was another mom, and we laughed so hard, and I love when people laugh at everything I say. So this lady, she's just powerful. She's powerful on her own. She's funny, fun, powerful, and really, really cool. And then I got to sit next to her, and then I just had so much fun with her. And then after the basketball game, I took my daughter to this thing. It's an etiquette tea. And we had the nicest, there's two other moms at that table, and they were so nice. And, good enough sense of humor. And then I went to, and then after that, I talked to someone who's funny, thinks I'm funny. She was great. But then this other lady who I know from somewhere, and, she just she was funny, fun, and very light. Lighthearted. So the first mom at the basketball game was powerful and strong, and fun and funny. And then this mom was very light and wants to laugh, and it was the same. It's so she laughed at everything I said. And then I said, I feel like I know you from somewhere. She goes, I feel like I know you from somewhere. I said, I remember liking you. She goes, I feel the same way. Then she was like, you're so funny, which I love to hear. But the thing is, I put on my moon papers. So, I put paper out for the full moon. And then on the new moon, I write on that paper. And months ago, I wish I brought it, but it was all my friendships are high vibrational, stuff like this. And I ended up losing a friendship, but it was just, there's a shift that happened with a friend of mine. And so I've seen her scream at other people, and was never directed at me. So and then it was directed at me. And when it was directed at me, I was like, hold on. No. And then so what happened was, that friend, let's say hates this one person, holds this one person responsible. Now, this is a new situation. A new situation, and she holds this one person responsible. So this one person is responsible for ruining everything in her life. It's just a story, but anyway, the person that she hates was going to start working with me. So I gave this person a book and an orientation to so I do spiritual life coaching. So I gave her the book and everything. Well, it was the same night, and then that night I live stream on Sunday nights. So it's 20 minutes to 9. So I had 20 minutes before my live stream is supposed to start. And my friend is calling. You can see the name. And I wasn't going to answer it, but then I was guided to answer. I'm like, really? And I was guided to answer it 20 minutes before my live stream, because I was going to have to handle the phone call in 15 minutes to give myself 5 minutes to prepare for my live stream. So it was very cool. Well, yeah, no, it was cool. Okay. Oh my God, there's so much clearing. Sorry. So I answer the phone call, and she starts screaming, right, from the get-go, screaming. Don't talk to that person who she hates about her. And I said, well, they're connected in a way. So I'm like, well, that's not a promise I can make, because in spiritual life coaching, my clients have to use examples from their life. So since there's this connection there, and then it would be there would be, I'm sure there would be examples from my new clients' work or spiritual journey. When we do the spiritual life coaching together, she's going to be using examples from the relationship she has with this person who hates her. Okay. And hate's not real. You know, it's just fear in disguise. But just so that this video isn't 2 hours long, to, you know, just get the idea out. So she thinks she hates this person. I gave this person a book. And she calls me up. And so my friend calls and I answer, and she's just screaming at me. And I'm like, stop. Stop. Give me 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes. Just give me 2 minutes. All I did was give this person a book. And there was some conversation, but for the most part, no. It was just one big tantrum, lots of screaming. And she wasn't able to give me 2 minutes where I could talk. So that's okay. That's what happened. But it came, and then she was trying to suck me into the story she has with this person. And I don't want the story. There's no point in me learning, you know, getting sucked in, because I'm not going to take a side anyway. Oh, I just thought of something. Okay. And so, but this person, this friend of mine, doesn't have any idea about how I work. So she's thinking, I think, and I don't know, but I think she's thinking that, that I'm gonna it's gonna be like gossip. And I'm like, look, life coaching is not gossip. It's not drama. And I don't let that person, you know, drag me into the drama of the story. So it's not like that. It's not like I gave her a book, whatever. So she starts really screaming, and she starts telling me, I don't want to say too much, but like, oh my God, just like the story at the top of her lungs. And I kept saying, stop, stop. This is none of my business. This is none of my business. I don't want this. And then I go, this is too much drama for me. This is too much drama for me. And then we hung up as okay. She said, just promise me this. I said, absolutely. And I promised her something that I promised her 2 things that I knew I could keep that promise, because I had to calm her down. Got off the phone with her, did my live stream. The next day I meditated. The next day in my morning meditation, I heard that when I said, this is too much drama for me, okay, it was over. The relationship, it's done. But I wasn't like, I'm not going to talk to you again. So I just kept up, you know, with whatever was happening. Went through the holidays, hadn't talked to her in like a month. She called recently. I called her back. She apologized for screaming at me. I told her that I understood and that I was forgiving her while she was screaming at me back then. And then it wasn't a full 60 seconds. It was not one whole minute of civility before she starts yelling again. And I said, I told you a month ago that this is too much drama, and I'm not staying in this space with you. Like, I don't like your choices. I don't like the way you think, and I don't like the way you're living your life. You know, so I say in these videos, I say, you know, when you work hard at holding your vibration high, and when you put your effort into meditating and holding a high vibration, and your own peace becomes your priority. And then I say, I refuse to let anyone take that peace from me. I refuse to let anyone steal my peace. So this friend was, you know, through screaming and through drama and story, was, you know, normal. I mean, a lot of people do behave like this, but I'm not available for this drama, and I do not accept the treatment of me. I mean, I said, you know, I love you. I just don't want to be around you, and I don't I don't want to be yelled at. And it's not, it's perfectly fine. So what I'm doing this video for is I just want to say, like, as you do your own spiritual work and as you raise your vibration and then you make your vibration a priority, people will, you may have to, not get rid of people, but just let relationships shift into where it's easier for you to hold a higher vibration. And then you vibrate higher, and then you call in higher experiences. So my old friend was a big kind of a tantrum thrower, and I used a lot of energy to quell the tantrums and calm this person down, which was fine at the time because I was in the space of using my energy to help friends. And then I have less energy for clients, for my family, for myself. So when I was good friends with this person, I drank a lot of coffee. And since I've let this person go, I don't even need coffee. And then yesterday, I got to be around these women that were like, you know, so funny and fun and cool and powerful and just like, you know, like, I want to laugh too. And it's like, it was awesome. And then, so what I want to say is, it's okay for you not to be available for people's drama and trauma. It's okay for you to give yourself permission, you know, to put up a healthy boundary when someone, whether they're doing it intentionally or not, is trying to lower your vibration or lowering your vibration. And no one is entitled to your time and your energy if you don't feel good. So your children are one thing. Obviously, you bring children into the world, or you have a mate, you know, there's an obligation there, okay? And a parent, you know, to some degree there's an obligation. I have people in my family that can lower my vibration easily, but there's a relationship there that I feel I need to maintain. It makes me happier to maintain a relationship with those people, and that's really enough for me. That's enough. My close family are my obligations, but how much do I want to give to my friends? And that's fine. Wherever you are. But feel free to give yourself permission to say, I'm not available for your drama, and you're not entitled to my friendship. If you're going to scream at me on the phone, then you're not entitled to my time, energy, any resources that I might have. You're not entitled. You know? And just because someone's been my friend for a long time doesn't mean that I have to keep allowing myself to be exhausted, handing over energy, lowering my vibration while I'm working at raising it and lowering and raising it. So the person in my family that can bring me into negativity, I just blamed that person for bringing negativity to me. But the truth is, a little distracted, this guy's super loud. The truth is, what happened was, I was not being powerful when the negativity was brought to me. And then I get irritated that this person's bringing me negativity. But this relationship is important to me, so I just have to, it's not on them to change. It never ever is. I am. It's about me. It's never about that person to change. It's always about me. It's on me to change myself. So I need to make myself more powerful and connect to my spirit to find out how is the best way to proceed or navigate. So, empowering yourself in living a spirit-directed life from an ego-directed life is, like I say, it's like taking a wooden dinghy and turning it into a big steel barge on the ocean or on the sea. I can't take the sea away, but I can help you turn your little wooden dinghy that's rocking on the, even a calm pond, calm water, and turn it into a big steel barge. The sea is not going to stop. The waves are not going to stop. But you can turn your little boat into a big boat so that the sea affects you less. So the negativity that gets brought to me is the sea. And when I'm reacting to that negativity or whatever shows up, I turn into a dinghy instead of staying a steel barge. Why do I turn into a dinghy? Because I love this person and because I don't want this person out of my life. That is attachment. So attachment to this person in my family takes my big barge and turns it into a little dinghy. But like a friend that I don't have the attachment to. It's like you're screaming at me. You screamed at me, and then a month later, you call and apologize. 30 seconds of civility, and then you start screaming again and trying to pull me back into what I told you a month before, like I'm done, too much drama. And then, not even 60 seconds of civility. Now, I'm less attached to that person. So I can stay in my integrity. Okay? So through that relationship, I'm not so attached. I'm not really attached to it. Once the attachment was gone from that relationship, I can be the big steel barge. And in that moment, on the phone, in that conversation, okay, the second conversation where that person is screaming at me, I remain a big steel barge, okay? And while that person is screaming at me, I'm not getting angry. I'm just plowing through and doing what needs to be done. So while she was screaming, I was saying the truth. And then there's this one thing that happened that I know the truth of, but she's lied to a bunch of people. She thinks that the only person who knows the truth is the person she hates, but the person she hates was actually on the phone with me, and I could hear what was actually happening. So my friend didn't know that I could hear, and I got to say in this conversation, I heard you. I heard you. I heard what was happening. And it was so freeing. It was like, oh, it was just the truth. And then, the friend thought she was entitled to my friendship because we've been friends for under 10 years, but over 5. Felt that they were entitled to this friendship. Like that I have to be on their side, even though I wasn't on anybody's side. But I know that this is not good for me, and I will not be screamed at. And so she was screaming, "Thank you for showing me your true colors." And I said, "You're welcome." And I mean it. Like I was in a powerful place, but I was in integrity. I was speaking the truth, and I was in integrity. And she ended up hanging up, which was totally normal and fine. Like, it wasn't going anywhere anyway. So, but whatever. So what was so neat is because I had zero attachment to this friendship, because of all the drama and all the not listening and all the screaming and the tantrums blaring at me, even though I gave someone a book, basically. And that is she didn't want me to help this person who asked for my help. But with what I do, if someone asks me for help, and I feel like they'll understand me, or they'll be empowered, because the person that this person that she hates is going to be an amazing, maybe a healer, maybe just a spiritual life coach. And I don't mean just like it's less, but I mean, oh my God, this person that I gave the book to that is hated by my old friend, is going to help a lot of people. So I know that my helping that person is going to lead to, like, I don't know, hundreds of people getting help through someone I help. Like, she's going to go on in her life to help at least 100 people. So this is not someone that I could feel good about saying, no, sorry, I can't help you, because I know this person is going to help a lot of people. Maybe more than 100, maybe like 1,000. I have no idea. But I feel really good about helping her. Like, I feel lit up about helping this person, because I just know she's got all these people she's going to help. Oh, I'm like shorting out right now. So, like, there's a thing too that says, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what lights you up, because what the world needs is more people who are lit up. And I love that. So this person, I'm happy to help. I'm excited to help. And so this other friend, this old friend that, you know, I knew that this friendship was going to go away at some point, because there was just too many misfirings, too many out of alignments. I was getting tired of all the tantrums. There was a lot of things where I had to kind of turn my head and look away and pretend I didn't really see. So I knew it was coming to an end, but the moon paper was like, all my friendships are in high vibration. I was like, oh, I didn't think about it at the time. Oh, well, that one's going to get called. So it did. And that's okay. But it's my lack of attachment to that friendship allowed me to stay the big steel barge, so that when the ocean brought this turmoil and upheaval of the waves and the screaming at me, I was able to stay in integrity. I was able to stay powerful and clear and say what I wanted to say, and to, you know, it was amazing. It was like, oh my God, it was so cool. But then the thing that happened to me today, with a relationship that I am very attached to, I was this little dinghy. I was this little wooden dinghy. Like, oh no, you bring me this negativity and it's not fair, and don't, you know, so I'm the same person, but totally different. In the non-attached relationship, I'm the big steel barge. And in the attached relationship, I'm a little dinghy getting tossed around by the waves. Then I get mad at the person I'm attached to. And it's not their fault, because the person I'm not attached to, I have no hard feelings towards at all. Like, I still love that person. And I have nothing but, like, gratitude for all the times we spent together, and I wouldn't change a thing. And I learned so much through that relationship. But since I'm not attached anymore, I was able to stay the barge. And then the other one is my dad. So I love my dad so much, and I don't want him to go anywhere. So I turned myself into the dinghy with my attachment for my dad, because I just love him. But if it was just that I loved him, I could allow him bad behavior without reacting, because I reacted at least as much as I did to the other person who was screaming, literally screaming. I'm not exaggerating, screaming, like unhinged. I actually said, "You are unhinged," I said to my friend. You're unhinged. You need therapy, because there's so much emotion there. And there's such a victim mentality that she really can't see what she's doing. She can't see that she's really created the mess, which is fine. We all, you know, we don't come here to live perfect lives, but there's no self-reflection available. There's no self-reflection available when people are that emotional. That's why tapping is so important. But the point is, you know, the more attachment you have to a person or a relationship, the more you're turning yourself into the dinghy. So by, you know, I'm not going to be less attached to my dad, okay? I know that. So the only way forward for me so that I don't react to my dad, he's in his 70s, you know, he's great. I love him so much. I need to make myself stronger. I need to at least give my dad the same level of compassion and grounded behavior that I bring to this relationship that I was getting screamed at. My father, you know, is worthy of my love without the attachment. And when we turn from a barge into a dinghy, we tend to blame the person who did that. So I could say, my dad, da 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 da, the story. But that's not true. What is true is that I'm too attached, which is fine. I'm going to allow the attachment for now. I just need to make myself stronger so that I stay big. But no one, you know, no one, including your parents, no one is entitled to your time, your love, your friendship. No one's entitled to that. No one is. Even your children, like if you have kids, it does serve in the highest best if you empower yourself at least to the point where you can be a good parent, you know, of course. So that's what I mean. Like, I'm not going to be less attached to my children. I just have to make myself stronger because I'm not going to let, well, no, I'm not. So if I allow my daughter to throw a tantrum and me react to it in a negative way or hateful, what I'm doing actually is I'm giving my daughter my power, and then I'm getting mad at her for whatever. You're upsetting me or whatever. All it is, it looks like, oh, my daughter's making me come unglued. No, I'm giving my power to my daughter or whoever. When you give your power to someone, I see it all the time. People give their power to someone, and then they get mad at that person, okay? When it's not that person's fault. You gave your power away. You gave your power away. Just take it back. And remember, we assign meaning to all things. So that means anyone who you gave your power to, you've assigned a meaning to them that makes it easy. They're not taking your power, you're giving it. You understand. All right, I love you. No one's entitled to your peaceful power, okay? No one. And if you want to be a good parent, or, you know, if you want to have an enjoyable relationship with anyone, you need to understand that your attachment in those relationships, in those instances, your attachment is going to turn you from a steel barge into a wooden dinghy. So, anyway, people are doing amazing right now. People are getting strong. People are getting strong enough to hear other sides. People are getting strong enough to hear other people's opinions. Twitter is calming down just the tiniest bit, but still it is. People are having conversations. I posted a Heineken ad. It's amazing. I need to do a video about the shift, there's a shift, like what you're seeing is, I'll just finish it up now. So there used to be all these groups, you know, and now the groups are breaking apart. So there's the women's march people, and they were so strong, you know, when they first marched. And I'm not saying they're not strong now, but what I'm saying is there's a lot of women. I didn't go to the women's march, but I saw a lot of interviews with people who were there while they were there, and you know, some women who didn't feel welcome, blah blah blah. There's some fallout, whatever. There's some fractioning off, and one woman who's so well spoken. Oh my God, she was young and cool, so well spoken. Anyway, she says she doesn't want the movement or the women's march group to get you know, broken up, to break apart, and they want to keep it together. So there's all this you know, like you saw the Republican Party kind of got blown apart with the Tea Party people, and then the Democratic Party kind of got pretty blown apart with the you know, the Bernie, you know, the Bernie or bust thing, and what happened to the Bernie people and the lawsuit and all that. So the new paradigm I'm talking about, it's like all these groups and these things that used to just kind of stay together in a clump, and everybody was like, you know, like sheeple, but it's like sheeple. These groups are getting kind of fractional, you know, splintered a little bit, not a lot. Well, depending, whatever. You get what I'm saying. What's happening is there's moving. The empowerment is moving into the individual person. So, you know, so the latest one was the women's march. From what I saw, they don't want it to get groupy. They wanted everyone to stay together. It's not in the highest best for groups to stay together. Okay, that's groupthink, and that's less empowering, because if you're assigning a positive, high value meaning to the group staying together, then if you want to change your mind or change the mindset or fraction off, you know, or split off, that would be bad or whatever, you're not going to be able to grow. So when you're an individual and you're going to be like, you're going to be able to agree with this from the, you know, agree with this from the Women's March, agree with this from the Tea Party, agree with this from the regular Republican Party, agree with this from the Libertarians, agree with this from the Anarchists, agree with this from the Hillary Democrats, agree with this from the Bernie Democrats. You know what I'm saying? Like, you start to think more and more for yourself, and that's what's happening, and that's so exciting. It's so exciting because the groups are getting split, little here, there, little there. And what's happening is people are starting to think for themselves, and they're agreeing with little bits and pieces of what each person or each group says, and they're like thinking for themselves, and it's a very, very, very cool time to be alive, and I love to see it. So what I'm seeing on Twitter gently happening is people who are part of a group are having dialogue with people outside of their group and saying, could you please tell me why you think that? You know, and then people are having softer, gentler conversations, answering the questions rather than reacting and name calling and stuff. And so people are finding common ground. And it's neat because it's moving people towards the individual empowerment. And it is so cool, and it's so beautiful, and it's like you don't need to take sides. There's billions of people on the planet, and it's not scary to have billions of points of view. It's just the parable, you know, the elephant and the blind men parable. What do you see? What do you see? What do you see? And instead of being scared that those people think like that, they don't follow our group's ideology. People are like, okay, well, you think that. Why do you think that? Oh, that's interesting. I'm not sure, but, you know, be skeptical, but learn to listen. And And then it's going to be easier to follow the 5 agreements. You know, be impeccable with your word. People are going to, once people's minds calm down, it'll be easier for them to be impeccable with their word, to stop making assumptions. All the Trump supporters are racist, Nazis. That's making assumptions. I mean, that is, you know, they said, I heard somebody say, where were all these racists when Obama was elected twice? I thought that's funny. So, not make assumptions, and then don't take anything personally. You know, that person's opinion is that person's opinion. I'm strong enough. I don't need them to change their opinion to match mine. Don't take it personally that they feel like that. Their experiences led them to their vision, what they see when they look out. They look out through their lenses. And so all their experiences create those lenses. They're looking out at the world, and they're seeing whatever they're seeing because of their experiences, because of the lenses that that have been created either through living out experiences or allowing, you know, mainstream media or movies, you know, or whatever they watch, whatever they put in their brain, whatever food they put into their brain is going to change. Is going to make lenses. So like, I have a neighbor that's outside almost all the time, almost all the time. I don't think he watches any movies. I don't think he watches any television. He's one of the most grounded people. So when he looks out, he sees the world in a grounded way. But then someone who lives in like New York City, that goes to marches all the time, that watches, or, you know, it's on Twitter all the time, that's on social media, Facebook all the time, and watches the news every night and watches movies all the time, they're going to have a way different reality than my neighbor. And that's just what it is, you know. So it's all cool, and I'm excited because as people start empowering themselves as individuals, what they're doing is they're raising their personal vibration, which raises the collective vibration. And then more and more people will be able to see things cleaner and cleaner and cleaner, and they'll stop giving their power away, you know, to the other side. I'm a victim of the other side. Both sides are victims of each other. Now we have to fight. We have to fight. We have to fight because we're victims of the other side. And so as we move into this new paradigm, we sort of swim in, and you get this, the individual empowerment, which is, you know, and people can say, put on your own oxygen mask before helping others. Yeah, we can see that makes sense. And people, some spiritual people use it, you know, put your own oxygen mask on, empower yourself. But then they still don't kind of follow through. And that's okay. That's where they are. There's a disconnect. There's a cognitive dissonance that's pretty prevalent right now. But as we start empowering the individual, they'll start to calm down. And as their minds calm down, they'll be able to deal with their emotions as the information from their soul and not react with those emotions, but to say, here's my work. I'm angry. Why am I angry? Oh, because I think I'm a victim of my dad? Oh, so actually what's happening is I gave my power to my dad and then I get mad at him. I assign meaning to he needs to be a certain way, and if he's not, that's bad. Okay, so then I say, you're not doing it right, Dad. You're not living right, Dad. You're not talking right, Dad. You know, and then I react to it and I get mad at him because I gave my power to him, and then I point my finger. So whoever you're hating and whoever you're pointing your finger at, you gave your power to them, whether it's a person or a group. But as you individually raise your vibration, you raise the collective, you know, your life's just going to get amazing while you raise the collective vibration. And that's why I do my Renegade Yogi stuff. I bless you. I forgive you. I respect all your free will choices in all directions of time, and myself too. And I love you. I deeply and completely love and accept myself as much as possible. You know, and all the angst, I eat it and I eat it and I transform it into power. And I'm like, okay, I feel like crap right now. That means I have some work. That means I have some alchemy to do. This crappy feeling, what's here? What do I learn? How do I raise my vibration? So we grow beautiful vegetables and manure. Love you.